Blank screen. Hello and welcome to this week's See You Next Thursday, which comes on the heels of a weekend on which Everton, Man United, and Man City all lost, but still, as Liverpool fans, were unable to enjoy it thanks to Darren England and Dan Cook, who were too busy filming their latest dance video on TikTok to notice that Luis Diaz was onside. Incidentally, you can follow Ed25 on TikTok under the handle Grumpy Old Git25. It has multiple videos of a bumbling old band struggling with technology, and it has so impressed the PGMOL that they are set to appoint him to be the new VAR replay operator to replace the one from Saturday who was far too competent for their liking. Anyway, sorry for rambling on a bit there, but I have to fill in a bit as we're so short of talking points this week, obviously. Yeah, anyway, let's get on with it. This week we have Ed25, our very own Sport Billy, the resident Everton fan, who we have to include as a minority to meet our diversity quotas. And we also have Ed72, the podcasting equivalent of Andre Onana. Seamus O'Deeks, the luck ender. It is said that even Jonah won't get on his ship with him. So how are you both today? Better than my PC then? Yeah. Yeah. That's typical. Switching on to go and to start doing the pods and the thing just dies. Like literally I just heard this fizzling and I'm like, oh no, what's that? And it's the bloody thing. So as a sound, so if anybody's listening, could they just let me know if the sound's okay and that what it's like if it's working or anything? Because like I've had to just jump on and hope the laptop will cope with all this and set it up on the fly. So I don't know if you're if seems to be working fine. Thank you, Seamus. Checking it. So how are you, Seamus? Seems you're quiet. You haven't replied. Yeah, even on 3 hours sleep. Yeah. It's not really saying a lot, is it? Shocking that you're in the top half. How? Yeah. What teams are in the bottom? Which teams are in the bottom half, by the way, Seamus? Everton, are they? Oh, who'd have thought that, eh? Sorry, sorry, Bill, couldn't resist that. Speaking of which, can I give out? I'd just like to. I think this week I'd just like to give out an award to for Hypocrite of the Week to Getafe for dropping the name of the former Spain striker Alfonso Perez from their stadium after he made comments that were deemed sexist. This is, after all, the team that signed an abusive rapist piece of shit in the shape of Mason Greenwood. Hardly defenders of women's rights, are they? I mean, for fuck's sake, how can you have him playing for your team and then say, yeah, but we didn't like he made a few sexist comments, that fella, we'll take his name off the stadium. Is that a wind up? They can't be that tone deaf, surely, to think that, that's going to, make up for what they've done. Can they? Apparently, his is the biggest selling shirt in Getafe history as well. Sorry, it's Getafe, you're supposed to say it. Who the fuck, what kind of scumbag would walk around with his name on the back? I mean, who have you got on the back? Yeah, exactly. Who have you got on the back of your shirt, Seamus? Instantly. No shit. But if you had, no, I mean, sorry, I should have rephrased that. If you were getting it just out of interest, if you were getting a name on the back of your shirt, which player? Obviously, it won't be Greenwood because he's not even at Man United right now. So we can, so it's not. But it wouldn't be him, I know. But I just out of interest because I know you loved Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's obviously not there. So who is it that your favourite now? So you're just Wait until they send it, assign him, you mean? No. Yeah. It- oh, oh, that is Lacanda then, isn't it, really? How do you say look? How do you spell Lacanda in Irish? Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I don't think it's bad luck, his problem. I think he's just shit, let's be honest. Yeah. Yeah, Shabozlai has outsold everyone, hasn't he? Already. Yeah, he's looked good, hasn't he? Yeah, very impressive. Just the problem is the yeah, Bellin, what a player. No, I don't get a name on them because the players leave, and it's not the player I'm interested in. It's the badge on the front. You know, the liver beard on the front for me is why I'd get them. What about you, Bill? Would you, if you were gonna get a name on the back of your shirt, though, name on name on the back of your shirt, who would it be? Yeah, if there's no player that you like at Everton, yeah, if there's no player you like at Everton, understandable. That's brilliant. Really? Do you wear it when you? Do you wear it? Oh, do you not get? Do you, have you? Do you get mobbed? Oh, so you get a fan. Oh my God, you've got fans, Billy. Uh, Bloody hell! Wow. The only reason they come up to me is so they could give me abuse. I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's true. It's a curse being this pretty. That's the problem. It makes people jealous, and you can't help. You know, it's just the way it is. You two wouldn't understand. Oh, I don't know. There's not really a lot to talk about, is there? I mean, well, I mean, what are we going to start with? Because whatever we start with, we're going to need like 13 hours to get through the. Well, just one. Look, I don't know whether we want to start there or do we do that last when we've covered everything else. Like, you can. How about no, no, no? You see, the dif- the reason no, the reason why it can for this is because it wasn't a judgment call that was wrong, as in like the referee made a wrong decision and then afterwards said, "Oh shit, look at it," looking at it again, I got that wrong. This was at the time they knew it was wrong, and they just played on, deliberately knowing it was wrong. That's a totally Well, it's not because that's happened a number of times, and it's always been replayed. The game's always been replayed, but this is the thing: it's always within a couple of days. I mean, this is the thing. Any other country, this has happened. Similar things like this, where a call like this or something has happened where where a game needs to be replayed. It's immediately resolved within hours. and the game, it's decided that it needs to be replayed. And what they do is they take it from the point where the mistake was made. They go, in other words, they go back to where the goal was scored. Liverpool would have the same team. They'd have to play the same players on the bench. Spurs would have the same team out. They'd have 11 men. Liverpool would have 10 from whatever it was. Well, I can't remember what time it was now. Was it 30 something minute? And they'd have to, and that's how it'd work. Yes, yes. Liverpool would start with 10 men. Yeah, 26th minute. Yeah, that's what I mean. Liverpool would start with 10 men in the 30th odd minute, whatever it was, whenever the mistake was made. Oh, well, if it was a mistake, I'm still not, I can't see how that's a mistake. I'm sorry. He clearly says offside. He's played him offside. So he's clearly claiming that it was offside. And then the VAR, it's only when the VAR operator said, but he's onside, that he says, "Oh shit, yeah." You know what I mean? This that I sorry, I just don't believe it's not match fixing. I can't see how it isn't. Well, exactly. Mm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. If it mm, mm. Exactly. Well, throughout that, you've got to say there was every decision was ridiculous. The Salah one, what was he? What the foul he was given on? He was clean on goal, clean through on goal after getting away from the defender that was fouling him, and yet he was given a free kick against. When he complained, he gets a booking. Now Madison's showing yellow cards constantly, as is Udogie. Neither of them get booked for it. They kicked the ball away. Madison kicked the ball away twice. How does he not get a booking for that? Yeah, and then Robertson at the end when he got attacked twice. I mean, clearly Porro's jumped in at him, looking only at him, never looks at the ball, jumps into him, smashes into him. Robertson carries on. Romero does the same thing. Yeah, Romero does the same thing, jumps straight into him. Robertson's the only one actually playing the ball, ends up flattened and gets booked for it. I mean, you're not telling me that there's not some. But you've only got to look at the still image they showed for the VAR for the Jones thing. Okay, I can understand if the referee gets the full picture, gets the proper replays, all the angles and all that, and then says, no, I still think that's a red card. Fine, I disagree. I don't think it was a red card, but fine if he says that. You just it's a disagreement and you get on with it, don't you? But when you've got him deliberately showing the VAR deliberately showing the most the still that they're not supposed to show anyway. Yeah, 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 and then mm, mm. Well, and then but then yeah, and then to say during the actual during the offside thing to then say, oh, but we can't bring it back because we got to stay. The protocol is it's played kicked off again, so we can't do anything. Well, hang on a sec, you haven't followed protocol at any point in this match. How can you suddenly say we've got to follow protocol? I mean, you haven't because the guy's held up his flag for starters. So that's already broken protocol immediately. You've broken protocol with the VAR, with the replay of the red card. You broke, what I mean? It's just like, which is it? You've got to follow, this is the protocol you've got to follow or not. Oh, it's just Right. Not one way. Mm, mm, exactly. And footballers gamble. I can't. No, I can't see any different from you, Billy. Sorry. What about you, Seamus? Do you think it was just a genuine mistake or series of mistakes, I should say? Yeah, straight away we both said onside, didn't we? Yeah. Well, we know they can because they called back Brighton and Man United, didn't they? They called back Brighton and Man United to give a penalty after the game had finished. They can. They can. Just he's deliberately. Yeah, and that's all they had to do. That is then becomes corruption. Mm, they do normally. That's the thing. How come it was so quick? They knew it was right, wrong, and they moved on quickly. They didn't even draw the lines on, and yet you could see it. You couldn't see immediately looking at that. You couldn't say immediately he was a martyr. You didn't need, that you needed the lines to see whether he was on or off because he might have been off. You could see immediately he was on, so you didn't need to draw the lines. So how is that not? If that's so quick that they knew it was right, and how is? I just don't understand how this could possibly have happened. And then them saying they can't do anything about it. This is the bit that gets me when he's saying, "Yeah, yes, that's what I'm saying." Is the point is the guy in Darren England is absolutely 100%. either a complete and utter failure at his job or he's a cheat. There is no in between, and he should be sacked either way. The only question is whether he should face match fixing charges. Is the only issue in this, in my opinion. But he certainly should not be working in football again. And the worst thing about it is that what they've said is he'll just not work Liverpool games for this season. So the rest of you bastards are going to put up with this useless twat who might be cheating on the take. I mean that doesn't. How does that help? And what they've said is they've also said they're gonna look and make changes, but they haven't specified what the changes are. So how do we know they're actually? It's basically they've just fobbed everyone off and said we're not going to actually fucking do anything, are we? Let's be honest. We'll just say we'll make some changes and wait until it all blows over. It, it's a scam, mate. Well, even if it isn't, it's corruption because they're covering it up. It's that simple. You know, when people are getting it wrong, rather than dealing with the issue of fixing it, they're just carrying on. And you can't have a sport that's being fixed like this, even if it's not deliberate. But it is because it's fixing the results in favour of one team. Even if it's not deliberate, it's still fixing it. Because it's not the teams that are actually. You know, we may as well not put two teams on pitch because the VAR's deciding what the result is now. Oh, they're saying they can only hear you. Hang on, sorry. I just noticed. Chat. Sorry, it's because I'm having to use a new setup. Right, it should be working. Why is it not? Thought you did listen to it. Right, hang on. Let's try that one. Try speaking again, Bill. Yeah, no, that's not it. Shit. I don't know, but apparently they couldn't hear anything you've been saying at first. I was so busy to. Oh shit! And it's still. Oh, fucking hell! No, it's the. Oh, this setup. Let's try. Bollocks. Let's try to. Maybe it's the audio volume that's down. Let's try that. Try not speaking again. Oh shit. We do. We have to start. I don't believe this. We have to go back to the beginning until when I can figure it out. The sound's just not. Oh shit! Why is this not working? Let's try that one. No, it's your sound live. Ah, maybe it's Discord. It's because I've got my Discord settings wrong. For fuck's sake. I'm really sorry about this, people. Try that. Oh, hit your loud. Hit your loud. Oh, Oh, yeah. Yeah, but he's probably right. But they can't hear you. Oh my God, they can't hear you. Oh shit, I can hear you so loud, but they can't hear you. I don't know why. Right, let's try. Oh, wrong one. Right, I'm going through all the other shit. I had it set up. It was so easy to use on the bloody PC, and now let's try that one. There we go. Is that working now? What are
I
you
don't
doing?
know.
Is that working?
Seamus, is it working?
Shit. Is that working? Are you hearing it now, people on YouTube? I'm really sorry. That Billy Heavy voice
Seamus is
again.
typing now.
Is it working? So I think we need to go back to the beginning, by the way.
Right, okay.
We need to start with no, can you believe it? Oh, Jesus, what a disaster. So, can you hear Seamus? Because Seamus isn't speaking, so let's speak, Seamus.
You guys can hear me. Let me check if I can hear myself on the live
I
stream.
can hear, I can hear Seamus.
Jesus, Billy's so loud, I'll have to turn him down on the Discord now.
Do you want me to turn my own down, Chris? I can turn myself down.
No, you sound completely fine to me. Your
Is
volume
it?
is completely fine, and I think
No, it's
they
just
can
mine.
hear me now.
It's just
Same
I'm
as all
I
the
can
other.
hear.
too high. That's all, Bill. Don't worry. I think.
Okay, mate.
There goes. So everyone's all
Luck
good
and
now.
to the rescue.
Hey, we're in. Sorry,
Are we in?
apologies. I'm fucking useless. This is because my PC died just before we started. So what do we do? Do we start from the beginning again? I don't think we need to do my intro anyway, or the tapping.
No,
We just
I
start
think
from
we can.
VAR again.
No, I think we can just keep it a bit short now because as a try, we've done the discussion. It's if we were the jury on the courtroom, then we would be ruling this as a corrupt event.
Yeah, I'm calling it corruption, I must admit.
I
You
can't
can't
see.
get that many decisions wrong in is one mistake, two mistakes. I can live with that. But there were so many mistakes in that game that I'm calling corruption. I think, can you hear me, Trish? Yeah?
Yeah, great. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's why I'm calling corruption. One or two mistakes you can live with, but that many mistakes in a game, there must have been 7 or 8 instances there where VAR could have done a better job. The referee, the linesman, all the officiating was terrible. And, can that many, can honestly hold their hands up and say that was a mistake 7 times, 8 times, whatever it was in the game? It stinks of corruption to me. Biggest gambling in the world, so much $1 billion industry gambling on football matches, and it stinks to me. It really does. I don't like calling this corruption, but I think it could be. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit if it's corrupt.
Now, at this point, I think it's in a way it's better for this whole thing to be corrupt than to be incompetent, because if it is
Yeah,
incompetent to this level, then there is no hope.
yeah, I think you're right, Teach.
That's a fair point.
Because people can go back and check. We could literally call the errors that they were gonna make.
Yeah,
I called the Curtis Jones incident getting a red card, which I completely disagree with. I I I called Joda getting a second yellow, which again I completely disagree with.
Couldn't have got the
They were like,
first one either. That's the other thing.
the first one was. I think
No,
if
didn't
they
he?
were, yeah, I think if there could be 2 yellows, then it should have been to Udozi. Not that I'm saying he should have been sent off
Yeah.
for diving, but Those two were elaborate types.
And then he also held the card up as well, remember, when he was on the floor. So, he could have been booked 3 times. Because that's supposed to be an automatic booking now. This is what I don't understand is why is it that like it was the same with the Newcastle game. St Alexander-Arnold gets a booking for kicking the ball away. But the same incident, the player that he was supposed to have fouled actually, the player that was
Gordon.
actually playing
Yeah.
against Gordon, threw the ball away in front of the referee and didn't get booked. I mean, it's you can't get much more obvious than that. That it's more than just incompetence. I'm sorry, it's you just if you're making those decisions when they're right in front of you at the same time, and you're only booking one of them. It's all the callbacks as well. When Liverpool broke on Spurs, and the amount of times like the one they called it back for a free kick to Liverpool when they broke. Remember that one? And like I think Salah was away down in the middle virtually, and virtually on one with the keeper. Okay, he's still 30 yards from goal, but still, why do you call him back for a free kick to Liverpool in their own half? I mean, you're playing the advantage. You mentioned your motion to play the advantage until he got past the defender, and then you call it back. I mean, it was deliberate. He waited and see whether whether he got clear, and then he called it back. Stuff like that. I mean, there was just, and that happened a couple of times. The Gomez one. There's no way on earth the keeper touched the ball. Not even close to touching it. He's caught Gomez there. The only question is whether it's a goal kick because Gomez kicked the ball out, or a penalty. But VAR didn't even, didn't say anything about
No,
that. Didn't say, and that has to be a clear and obvious error because the referee awarded a corner to Liverpool. And if the goalkeeper doesn't touch the ball, Gomez
no, no, no,
doesn't
no, no.
touch the ball.
It's not goalkeeper. It's Van de Ven. I think the incident is with Van de Ven,
Oh,
and
sorry,
it
when
was
you said
given. Yeah, it
goalkeeper
was
corner,
given. Yeah,
I know it's because
it
that
was
was on
given as a
later in the
goal kick.
day.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was given as a goal kick,
no,
but
it was given as a corner.
it can't be a goal kick. No, it was given as a goal kick.
No, it's
If
given
it
as a
was
corner on
no, it was
Gomez.
given as a goal kick, Chris.
It wasn't. It was
What
given as a
what
corner,
it should have been
Liverpool
if
corner.
either Van de Ven gets the ball, so it should be a corner, or Van de
No,
Ven gets the player and it should be a penalty. But it was given as a goal kick. Go
All
back and
right.
watch it.
Okay.
Or maybe there were multiple incidents of similar nature.
no, you're thinking the one I was getting mixed up was with the goalkeeper later in the day in another match. Goalkeeper wiped someone out, and they didn't even give a free, didn't get a penalty for that either. There's so this okay. We're saying they might well be just totally incompetent, but if they are, then we're in a deal with them.
Then
So you
there's
just
no
give that,
point in having them.
yeah. And it's not just VAR; it's the whole set of officials, all of them, the fourth official, the two linesmen, the referee, all of them are utterly incompetent to a degree that just makes it impossible to continue to play the sport with them there. I mean, how can they be this bad? They're professionals. Surely they should have processes in place to rule, to help make it, help stop them being incompetent. But they don't seem to have any kind of process in place.
Now it's I think myself there's got to be an upshot to it. Mine would be to take away the AR until it's perfected. I think they're making too many mistakes. They're ruining the game. They're ruining it as a spectacle. And I feel for the supporters who pay good money to go and see these games, and they can't even celebrate a goal now because you don't know what's going to happen. Whether
Mm.
it's offside, whether it's going to bring it back for a foul. And as soon as they score, the first thing they do is run to either a screen or they're not even celebrating because they know that something could come up to take the goal off them. And it's just ruining the game as a spectacle for me.
It's the worst thing about the game now is that the goal thing, that you just don't know whether you've actually scored or not. It's ruined it.
Mm.
It really has, because you can't. You go to celebrate. You're like, and then you think, shit, is it a goal? The only way I could celebrate the last few times is because I was doing the watch along, and I'm so far behind that everyone's already told me that it's been allowed. On the chat, that's
Yeah.
how far behind I am. Like, the VAR's already made the decision, and but it's just you watch. It is a total destruction of the game to a point that it's no longer at half as enjoyable to watch anymore. It's just frustrating now.
No, it's not. No. Do you know what? You could put up with it years ago, couldn't you? You know, the referee would make the odd mistake, the linesman would make the odd mistake,
Mm,
and you could live with that. You know, that's human error. But this goes beyond human error. This is in the realms of cheating or corruption because you can't have the technology that we've got now where they show you everything and they still get it wrong.
mm.
You know, it's just making a mockery of the game, and I don't like it one little bit. I've called for it before that it should be suspended until perfected. That was my stance on it. You know, get it right, take it out the game, get it right, and reintroduce it because at the moment it's not fit for purpose, and it's ruining the game as a spectacle.
I don't know why they felt the need to introduce it so quickly. Anyway, I mean, there was no rush. The game wasn't doing badly. It wasn't like it was struggling, and everyone was saying, there was like, everyone was turning it off because it was boring or it wasn't working. It was still it was still a huge, massive growth industry. So get it, take your time, keep looking at it, keep working on it, keep perfecting it, get it right, and then bring it in. But no, they just rushed it in without after a few months of testing. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, it has ruined the game. It's definitely ruined the game for me. It has anyway.
the worst of it is they run trials at things like the World Cup. I mean, this is supposed to be the biggest moment in the sport. You can't run a fucking trial on new technology during that.
No,
That's insane. Utterly
no,
insane.
I'm not happy with it. So I'm certainly not happy with the Liverpool game, which is what it's all boiled down to, isn't it? And you know, it's not whinging, is it? It's about being right. You know, there's people on Talksport saying, "Oh, Liverpool fans whinging again." They've got a right to whinge when that happens to you, whether it be Liverpool, Everton, Tottenham, or Arsenal, Man City. If that happens to you, it's really bad, isn't it? You know, that costs titles, that costs managers' jobs, it costs people the livelihood if they're sent down. You know, instances like that if they go down, and it's just not right. You know, you've got the technology, use it, but use it in the correct way and have be competent at least.
In the last
It's
few
just not
years,
working for me.
Liverpool have lost title. In what last 5 years, I think twice by 1 point. So of course,
Mm.
of course we're going to be fucking upset when we've been, when you've been cost a point by something so ludicrous. If you're not upset by that, that's what I don't understand is why Everton fans weren't the same when the Rodri handball wasn't given, or Wolves fans weren't the same when Onana clearly wipes out whoever it was. I can't remember. Was it Sasa Kalicic that he wipes out in the box?
Kalajdzic.
Yeah, Kalicic. Okay, sorry. Need your pronunciation yeah, I could never get that one right. But yeah, you've got those kind of things. I just don't understand how their fans aren't saying we should that it does need to be done because otherwise this is going to keep happening. But a lot of their fans just
Oh,
say, "Oh well,
Everton fans were up in
get on
it.
with it."
Up at the Rodri one, Everton fans were going berserk because that could have cost us our
So,
status in the Premier League,
yeah,
and they
sorry,
were
Everton
going mad
fans.
about it. But yeah, the Rodri one was so blatant. You know,
Mm.
where's VAR then? And then you get an apology the next day from the referees association to say, yeah, we did get it wrong. We're sorry about that. Sorry means nothing, does it?
Mm.
If you're going down,
Well, Wolves have
and it's
had
just wrong. And I think that cost Liverpool because 2 points it would have cost City if Everton had scored the
yeah, but
penalty.
Liverpool wins.
Liverpool
Liverpool
probably
win
got on
it.
to win the fucking title.
Well, they would have won the title because we'd have been 1 point ahead of them instead of 1 point behind. So that's the title's cost because of that one game. That's given Man City another title more than they would have had.
That's where you've got to look at corruption, haven't you? You've got to look at corruption.
But what I'm
You know, it's a nasty word to say, corruption. You don't want to be saying it about football, but there's no other explanation at times. They're just that's just blatant fiddling. You know, people have got to call a spade and say that's not right. That's corruption, and I think it is. I've called it for a long time now.
Twice already, Wolves have had apologies off the PGML for being shafted on decisions. Twice already, and yet and yet the Wolves fans are saying, "Oh, it's only going to be, because Liverpool Big Six." Well, instead of saying that, why not say, "Well, yeah, you've got a point. It's shit. Let's get something done and make changes to it." I don't care about this replay. I've heard people. I've said how I think, how they could do a replay, but they're not going to give a replay. But even so, that's not the point. I don't really care about that. What I want is it fixed so it doesn't keep happening in future. That's the important
Yeah.
thing, in my opinion. And the only way that'll happen is if all the clubs get together and say, look, this isn't right. Obviously, Man City aren't going to do that because it works for them. How many times have they ever had? We know full well what's going to happen this weekend, don't you? They'll get a stack of dodgy decisions given against them just to prove that, oh, look, no, it actually works as well.
It's been said that Liverpool are going to get a load of favourable decisions as well, actually, because they're owed something, you know what I mean? They are owed something. So they're saying that it could happen with Liverpool as well.
Bloody hope not, because that just ruins it. How can you enjoy
Yeah, that's just wrong, isn't it? It's just wrong. That's corruption again, isn't it? That's just putting the top hat on things to say, if Liverpool do get some favourable decisions, that they know that they owe them something, and that's wrong. It should just be a fair game of football, and it's just not at the moment.
Every game should be judged on its individual merits, and every incident should be judged on individual merits. Shouldn't be nothing else should be taken into account in an incident, like the Jones challenge, for instance. Nothing else should be taken. What he's done for the last 20 minutes before that shouldn't be relevant to whether that decision is a red card or not. And what's happened in the previous match shouldn't decide whether that's a red card or not. It's just
No, it
not.
shouldn't.
That's how it should work, and that's unfortunately that's not gonna. We're getting into a situation where referees are gonna have unconscious conscious bias now. When we don't want that, that's exactly what the problem
No,
is.
that is the problem. Yeah, that's the main problem.
Yeah, we don't want them
Conscious bias.
We don't want them to give. If that's the case, if they just gave the replay, would actually be a better idea because then at least, even if Liverpool ended up losing 5-2 or whatever to Spurs after because they're down to 10 men, it could happen quite easily. They could concede a stack of goals and Spurs go on and win it. We know that, you know what I mean? Take a risk, but at least then the referees might not feel they have to give Liverpool decisions rather than because they've shafted us in the past. Because I don't want them to give us fake decisions. I want them to be fair and honest.
Yeah. Well, it's not. The thing is, people are calling it now. They are calling it corruption because it's happened so many times. It's happened in high-profile games as well. It doesn't really matter if Sheffield United against Luton or Sheffield United against Everton because it's a big deal for them because they're down there. But the more lucrative games, you notice it more because there's such a lot riding on titles and Champions League qualification. But it's wrong whatever happens.
Relegation's huge. That can destroy a club altogether.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
they can't because it shouldn't matter what the game is, and every game, every position in the table's worth what? Is it £1 million a place at the moment now? Over £1 million for
Something
every
like that.
position.
Probably more. Probably more.
I think it's over £1 million now a place. So every game's got huge potential consequences. So you have to be they should be fair, and we should know that the referees are there for the good of the game. Don't care if they make
But it doesn't
mistakes.
look that way, Tris, does it? Just doesn't look that way at the moment.
No,
There's so many mistakes being made that it's almost impossible to call them mistakes, because it's happening so often.
What that audio proves, one thing, is that the PGMOL lied immediately afterwards with their statement they released. Because they said that the on-field operators thought that the decision given was onside. And so they just said, yeah, check complete, it's okay, because they thought like they'd been given onside, right? But they quite
Yeah.
clearly say he plays him offside. And the VAR, the replay operator says to him, so you're happy with that decision? You know what I mean? Say, as in, like, he's playing him offside. So obviously he thinks it's offside's been given. Otherwise, why is he saying he's happy with the decision?
Mm.
So if he said he's happy with the decision to give offside, not onside, offside, 100%. He's definitely thought it was offside. He's saying, or he's deliberately, or he's just. To me, I just got the. I just listened to it and I thought he sounds like he's panicking because he's got caught. Not because he's made a mistake. I think he's just panicked. But like I said in the match review, for me, you've got no. The important thing here is that he's clearly not cut out to be a referee because he panicked under pressure, and a referee has
Yeah.
to be calm under pressure. They're working in one of the highest pressures environments in the world, making important decisions at every moment. They're constantly having to make even a non-decision is a decision. A decision not to make a decision. A decision not to give a foul or a free kick or or blow the whistle, whatever. You know what I mean? Or any decision. Every moment they're constantly making a decision whether to blow the whistle or not. That has to, they're under immense pressure from the fans, from the players, from the coaching staff. He clearly can't
From
handle
the
that.
betting officers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. From the bookies, from the UAE employers that they're working for on the side, which again is something that
Yeah, that's
shouldn't be.
wrong as well, isn't it? When was it, Wednesday or Thursday, that they were flown out to the Emirates to do a similar job over there at one of the league games?
You
That's
can't
just
have
not
them.
right, is it?
You can't have them working for a league that's paid for by one of the by one of the teams. You can't work in the Saudi league either for a similar reason. Just can't. It's wrong. And if the Qataris buy Man United, they wouldn't be able to go out there either because you can't have them working for because the league is bought and paid for. Run by the people who own a football club in the same league that they're refereeing in. You can't have them working there. It's as simple as that. It's a conflict of interest, whether they mean to or not.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
They wouldn't, they're not being put under any pressure by their other employers and that. They're unconsciously going to be under pressure.
Is it down to the standard of refereeing, Tris, would you say? Because I think the standard has dropped so much.
Oh,
Is it because of VAR? But are they using VAR as a crutch so as you don't have to make these important decisions? Or are they just incompetent? Because most of them get it wrong as many times as they get it right. And you see the Champions League games, and the refereeing to a far higher standard than what ours are. And we're supposed to be the biggest league in the world and the most money in the world, football wise. What you'd think we'd have the best referees refereeing our games, wouldn't you? You really would.
what I don't understand is, well, why don't they go and get cherry pick the best referees from around the world? The league's got the money to
Yeah,
pay for them. Bring them in and
of
get them,
course they have, yeah.
even if it's just in as a consultancy basis to help train the next all the referees should be training under the best of the best. Bring in that what's his face, the Italian guy, the bald-headed fella whose name's completely escaping me
Kalina,
now. Yeah, Kalina, that's it.
Kalina. Mm.
And bring him into and I know he's not well liked in, I think it's Ukraine and that because they don't
Whatever.
respect. Yeah, but so at least he was a genuinely great referee. I mean, he's clearly the best ever. You know, he used to go to referees, isn't he? There's not even a dispute on that. There's nobody who's ever been as good as him. So get him involved, help out, teach them. Because there's something clearly wrong with how they're preparing them. So bring in the best to say, well, this is how I prepare. This is how I was trained. You know, this is what I look for. This is the things that I look at. This is how I work. And maybe you could improve the standard because the others might learn something from them.
Do you think they should train ex-footballers to become referees, Tess?
Oh, they should do it. Yeah, I mean that goes without saying. It should
Because
be.
why I'm saying that is the lad from Liverpool, can't think of his name now, on Talksport, he was saying about the Josser incident. You know where the lad tripped over his own foot that got in his first
Yeah.
booking. Now he was saying that a player, he said when he seen it, he knew that it wasn't a foul because he never broke stride.
Mm.
He said if you're going to trip someone up, you put your foot sideways to try and catch his heel or catch it, you know. And he said he never broke stride. And he said I knew as soon as I seen it that he hadn't caught him because it happened to win in games, you know. And he said I could see it as clear as day that that was not a foul. And would it be worth training up these people who have actually played the game at a high level to actually officiate because they know the pitfalls of giving free kicks and that, you know, that's all I'm saying. Though.
Oh yeah, it should have been done. Yeah, I don't understand why it's never been done. It makes it okay. You don't have, it doesn't have. Don't want just footballers, ex-footballers. There should be as diverse a mix as possible. There should be everything. But football, you have to have ex-footballers involved. Have to. I mean, it's ridiculous not to have any. How can there not be any ex-footballers working as officials at the game? That says that there's a problem there for me because they should be involved.
And VAR, if VAR is still here, you know, why aren't they involved in VAR? Because they'll know what's happening on the game straight away. Straight away they can call it.
But
You
even
know, they know.
even if they're not involved as officials themselves, they should be in there consulting with them, helping them train, teaching them what to look at, things like that. You know what I mean? But they don't even do that because it's sheer arrogance. PGMOL has never been run properly. It's always been run by ex-school teachers and coppers and other power mad, the type of people, little Hitlers who think they know everything, and they don't want to listen to anybody else, and they think they know, and they'll club together to stand, whenever anybody says you got that wrong, no, we didn't, it's not our fault, it's somebody else's fault, it's never our fault, never make any changes because they always back each other. And you don't need that, and the officials don't need to have each other's back at all. There's no reason for it. It's not a fucking war. You're not fighting against people. You should be working with everyone. Working with people in the game to make it better.
So what's the upshot, Tess? What's going to happen over this incident?
I'll tell you what'll happen.
Because
They'll carry
go on.
on with what they're doing now. They'll put out statements saying we'll make changes, but then they'll be vague like they have been. They haven't said exactly what they're changing because they're not actually. We'll make changes to ensure this doesn't happen again, but they'll not tell you what they are because they aren't actually going to make any
And
changes.
what
They'll
will
just leave it
happen
as is.
over that game? What will happen over that game?
Nothing. That's it. They've given the apology and that'll be it. I mean, the only thing they're gonna do is Darren England won't do Liverpool games for the rest of the season, but then next season they'll put the useless cheating bastard back on charge of Liverpool games, and wonder why if there's a problem it all goes shit. Goes tits up. You can't. It's making English football a laughing stock around the world as well. That's the other thing. It's
Yeah,
embarrassing.
there's a,
It's absolutely embarrassing to say, this is the level of English football that we can't even get a simple basic decision right. There's no need for it. It's not even that difficult. The decisions that they got wrong. This is the thing. It's
yeah.
just.
That's why I'm calling corruption. You know,
Mm.
I can't believe the professionals can get it wrong. That whether that be the referee, the linesman, the people in the VAR. You know, for them to all get decisions wrong that many times in one game, that's why it stinks of corruption to me. You know, one or two, one maybe two, then you start looking at betting syndicates and things like that. You know, and it's wrong for me. I think there's got to be something radical done. And for me, it'd be to scrap VAR until it's in a form where people can understand it and it looks honest rather than what it does now because it looks corrupt. People are calling it corrupt, and they're right for me.
That's obviously how it can be said as anything in. Have you? God. Yeah, it's. I can't see how it can be anything else. I mean, I know Seamus thinks it's just poor, they're incompetent, but can you carry on with them that incompetent, Seamus?
No, no, we can't. Like I said before, I'm starting to actually hope it's not incompetence to this level and rather corruption. I think
But
being corrupt might be a better thing for this because if it's this incompetent, then there's no hope.
they've said the
Yeah,
Premier League panels now overruled the Diego Jota red card.
Jota,
I
yeah,
mean, for
exactly.
God's
I saw that as
sake.
well.
Oh, this is. I mean, oh,
yeah, that's one of your paybacks. That that's one of the paybacks. That
well, no, I
it
mean,
is.
it is the correct decision, but like
Yeah, it is the correct decision, but they're appeasing Liverpool now because of the mess they made of it. You know,
that's how it
whether it was
feels.
a mess, deliberate mess. Yeah,
It
it
doesn't
does. Yeah,
feel like they've given the correct decision. It feels like they've just that they agree with. It just feels like they've said, "Shit, we'll
yeah,
just
they're
keep."
appeasing them. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll just
yeah,
keep
that's what they do.
keep them whinging scousers quiet. That's all it feels like, and it's not what we want. That's not what that's not what the problem is. We don't want
No, but
favourable treatment. We want everything to be fair. So we know that when you get beaten because the other team scored more goals than you, legitimately, and they didn't get ruled out because you were even though you're a mile onside.
no, but the more I hear Trish talk, the more I just remember the meme that Billy sent us. It's not you will never walk alone, it's you will never hear the end of it.
But
That
no, like,
was
well,
an
but if you don't keep fighting, you don't get anything changed. Because what they'll do is they'll just carry on brushing it under the carpet, like they've done with the Wolves incidents and the Rodri handball and however many other. I mean, this isn't a one-off, is it? I mean, Forest have had quite a few go against them as well, haven't they, in recent times? And I'm not a Forest fan by any means. They're someone I don't particularly like as a team. But I don't want to see them cheated out of points. I want to see them lose the points because they get beaten. I don't want to see them get
yeah,
beaten by the referee. I want to see them get beat by the other team. Same with Man United. It's just, it's really annoying.
yeah. It's
Oh yeah,
annoying.
there
It's
was also the Brentford one against Forest. Yeah, that's the other. That was the one I was thinking about the keeper. Remember I said earlier about the keeper,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I was thinking it was the Gomez one. It wasn't. It was Brentford against Forest when the Forest keeper
yeah.
literally just wipes out the Brentford forward. I mean, he got nothing on the ball. And he
Ever
wipes him out,
seen that?
and
Yeah,
they didn't give a. How is that not a penalty? Even the Forest fans are all saying, "Well, we got away with one there."
absolutely. They would. Yeah,
But again, this is the kind of thing that VAR should not be able to miss. And if it does miss, you've got to ask questions why it's missing it. I mean, the amount of
yeah,
handballs
yeah.
this season as well. We've seen loads, and we're all saying we don't know what the handball rules are anymore. Just that the laws of the game seem to have changed in the Premier League only. Because
Yeah.
I do not
Yeah.
know what the handball law of the game is in the Premier League anymore. I've seen
It's
multiple
something like
referees.
if your hands in an unnatural position, or if you go in for a challenge, your hands automatically come up. You know, if you go for a sliding tackle to balance yourself, your hands come up in the air. There's no natural position. If it hits your hand, it's got to be a penalty.
Well,
It's as
that's how
simple
I
as
look
that.
on it. I
Yeah.
look on it. You can't decide. No one can know what's a natural or unnatural position, or what's
No.
deliberate handball and what isn't, because it's guesswork. You literally you cannot tell whether somebody. You can say, well, he's made a deliberate handball, deliberate move towards it, but that's normally it's unconscious that you do that, so that's not deliberate.
Yeah.
That's an unconscious movement, which isn't deliberate by the very definition of it.
Yeah.
It makes it so you just have to go with either it's handball. It's a bit like offside if you're interfering with play. That's just bollocks. If you're on the pitch, you're
Yeah.
interfering with play. End of, because otherwise you wouldn't be
Yeah.
playing an offside on the
Why? Yeah. If you're not, why aren't you interfering with play? You should be.
Oh, exactly. You're
That's
being
what the
paid
manager
80.
would
You're
say.
being paid
Yeah.
at least 80 grand a
Absolutely.
week, like lads. Why aren't you interfering with play? Well, they are because
You should
immediately,
be.
because the defenders are going to be checking where they are, so they're going to be distracted by them. Oh my God, that was a hack. The Freeburg keepers just put the ball out for a corner, completely just slapped to the backside. Clearly put it against West Ham in the Europa League. So. Yeah, if you're on the pitch, you're interfering with play. It really is that simple.
Yeah.
And I don't
Yeah.
understand how you can not be. I don't understand how anyone can say you're not interfering with play.
We'll have to see how this weekend goes because it's pivotal this weekend. You know that people are going to be scrutinising every decision, and I know it's a hard job refereeing. It is a hard job, but there's got to be more competency than what there is now. You've actually got to be looked at and scrutinised at what they're doing. I know it's not nice, accusing people of corruption, but it does look like that. If it looks like a pig, it smells like a pig, and it's pink. It's usually a pig, isn't it? Really is.
Yeah. Well, you can understand them making mistakes without VAR. I could understand it being pure incompetence. But now it's
Yeah.
just got beyond the point of it being pure incompetence because they've got that many, they've got that many times they can check it, look at it, and watch from all different replays. If I can see it clearly, watching on the same ones, I don't understand how someone who's trained and paid a hell of a lot more than I earn to do so,
Yeah.
how they can't see the same issue. I mean, my eyesight's frigging terrible as well. So if
It
they
was a
can,
big
if I
deal.
can see it,
It was a big deal in putting the flag up because it doesn't happen. It just
no,
doesn't happen. You
no,
know, there's been instances where they've been offside by a good 2, maybe 3 meters, and
West Ham has
he
scored,
hasn't put his flag up, and everyone's going,
possibly.
why hasn't he put his flag up there? He's well off,
Yeah,
and he does it when it's a close decision. It literally was on. He has no doubt about it. Why did he put his flag up when he'd been told not to?
yeah, exactly. I've never seen one put up for. Normally they leave it for VAR to decide if it's close.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the
The only
protocol.
time, the only
Oh,
time
he
they put their
decided not to.
the only time they put their flag up is if it goes for the danger's over. The attack fizzles out. Then they put their flag up if they
Yeah,
think it was offside and it was a close one. Otherwise, they leave it and let VAR check it if a goal gets scored. But if the attack fizzles out, then they stick their flag up. But yeah, it's bizarre. 25 shot. Yeah, he's got a big mouth, Doc. That's all. And your Billy.
right. Oh.
He can't help it. He's just a loudmouth. Doc.
Right, should we go on to the games this week
Yeah.
anyway?
Okay. So yeah,
Move on from this because we've got to move on. I'm afraid. Go on, Trish. Tell us about the games.
Right. Right.
this
Well,
week.
yeah, I was going to say, which, oh shit, I've got to find the have. Yeah, see, normally I have it all set up so I've got the fixture list ready, but on this computer I don't have the right, I don't have the, thing. Oh, fucking hell, it was I don't have it all set up. Was there a Friday night game? No, there wasn't. So
No.
30th September. Right, so we started off, we had Villa thrashing Brighton 6-1. Ah,
Yeah,
that was a thrashing as well. Did you
it
watch it or
was.
did
Yeah,
you too?
I seen the highlights of it, and Brighton were doing all right at one stage. But they were either 1-up or 1-all, whatever. And then they just let some terrible goals in. Really poor. And De Zerbi was going mad on the touchline, rightfully so. The defending was awful. And Brighton are usually quite solid. And they were really poor. Villa were okay, by the way. Villa were good. And I'm a big fan of Watkins as well, who've done well. And it was a strange one to score. I don't think anyone had picked that score. Everyone thought it was going to be a really close game. Villa at home, Brighton, who have been on fire this year. And it was just absolutely not the Brighton that we're used to. Just one of them things, I think. One of them, like the Everton game last year with Brighton. Just unexpected results. You can take a 2-1 defeat or a 3-1 even. But 6-1 just seems strange, really strange.
I've got to
Did you watch it,
say,
Chris?
yeah, I think I've seen them a couple of times this season, and both times they've been shocking, absolutely shocking, and got battered in both games. And to me, I just don't think they're as good as people think.
Mm, yeah, I've seen them a couple of times as well, and they've been all right. I've seen them play
Yeah,
well,
I wouldn't
but
have
I have
said.
seen a couple of bad performances.
I think I said the
Did
same
you watch it?
when we were doing the watch along, didn't I, Seamus? Didn't I say to you? You were saying maybe you're the luck ender. Remember? So I saying every time I watch Brighton, they're shocking. But I don't think De Zerbi's all that personally. I think that, like, you see the players that he messes about with the team so much. He made what, 4 changes again? Keeps swapping the goalkeepers. Plays one away and one at home. They're both shit anyway. But like, well, you've got to. How can the defense settle down? It's obvious there's going to be problems. With defending over the course of a season when you're playing with a different goalkeeper behind you every match. I think you've got to squarely put the blame at that at the feet of,
On the Saturday.
yeah, has to be. It's his fault completely, in my
Mm.
opinion. I don't see how else it can be.
Did you watch it, Deeps? Did you watch it? The Brighton game?
No, Billy, I didn't.
Oh, didn't you, mate? Villa were quite good, quite clinical actually. Villa.
Yeah, they
Couple of
were.
bad goals though. Yeah, a couple of bad goals. The keeper was awful for two of them, but the defending wasn't great. But all credit to Villa. They absolutely battered them. What's the next one, Tris?
Underrate Jason Steele. To be fair, he is not a good keeper. I don't believe that, that if you had any choice whatsoever, you'd pick him. I don't understand how he's in the team. I really do not understand it. But yeah, anyway, shall we move on? Bournemouth, Arsenal. 4-0 to Arsenal, another one. I mean, it's hardly a surprise. Arsenal are a lot better than Bournemouth. Bournemouth are a poor side. Lucky to stay up last season. And
Yeah,
Iriola
I
doesn't
must
seem
admit
to
I
have
never
got it.
seen that one.
He doesn't seem to have got it at all in the Premier League. Doesn't seem to understand what he's doing.
No. No, I think we said at the start of the season that Bournemouth were going to struggle this year. They haven't got a good squad, have they? They've got a couple of good players. Billings is good. There's a couple there who are really, decent footballers, but nothing stands out to be, for them to avoid getting in the mire for relegation. They mightn't go down, but, they're going to have a hard season, a really hard season.
The only reason they won't go down is because the 3 that come up are all bloody awful this season. Burnley-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, they could just pass around at the back for all day long and would never actually go forward most of the time, and they just play themselves into trouble. It's terrible. And then you've got Luton, who just they're crap. Let's be honest. And they were
They went
literally
crap on Saturday.
oh, they were. It's just the other team they were up
Yeah,
against
they
were the
were.
worst. Yeah,
Yeah,
and the other one I forgot, Sheffield United. I mean, they're just embarrassingly bad. The three of them, really. They're probably the worst
yeah,
team to get promoted.
yeah. I
Uh,
wouldn't argue with that, Chris.
I can't remember
What's
who
the
it
next
was.
game, mate?
Speaking of which, it's next season. September's champions Everton, who lost to Luton Town. So,
Do you know
come
what?
on, Billy,
We
tell us
we were
about
on the
that.
back of two good. We were on the back of two good results. Beating Villa in the cup and a good win away at Brentford, where they played really well. And this is what gets me with managers and Sean Dyche, who I like actually. I don't want him to go anywhere. I like Sean Dyche. But he made changes. Garner, who was man of the match midweek
Yeah.
and against Brentford, put him out wide on the right instead of it and put Garner back in the middle, who's very, very slow and cumbersome. And the whole dynamic of the side changed. He was our playmaker in midfield in the two wins. And then he's pushed out on the wing to accommodate Garner. And it just wasn't the same side. And our defence, which has been quite decent, Jared Brandwaite along task with Tarkowski, they're a decent partnership, whether you're a big fan of either of them. But the two fullbacks were terrible again, really poor fullbacks. And, if Everton carry on like this, they're going to be in the mire again. And, people are going to call for Dyche's head, which I'd be sorry to see him go, but it's a results business, and people are calling for his head now after that. They were expecting better. We had loads of chances, by the way. Loads of chances. We played all right at times, but once they scored, you're on the back foot then, and you're panicking and you're snatching at shots. Calvert-Lewin, I think he's a decent player, but he was awful. He missed so many chances, and he missed getting into spaces for chances. And Everton were pretty poor. They played some nice stuff at times, but they just couldn't convert the chances. And then that puts pressure on the defence, start panicking, and it was overall, it wasn't pretty to watch at all. It was desperate at times. And I was hoping we'd turned a bit of a corner, but it seems we haven't.
I think it's a huge
Did
mistake
you?
moving Garner out the middle. I think he's been your key player.
Yeah. Yeah, James Garner has been really good the last two games. He was absolutely brilliant against Villa in the Cup. Absolutely brilliant. And to accommodate Garner coming in, Garner Gay coming in, he moved him out out to the right. And he was isolated on the right. And it just never worked at all. I felt so sorry for him because I thought he'd found his calling there in the middle. I think that's where he should play. I think everyone else does as well as Evertonian.
I think it's not just Everton. I think we all know that he's a very good central midfield player. And Garner Gay was never very good at the best of times. And he's well past his best now, and his legs are
Yeah.
gone.
I thought he was a good player in his prime, to be honest with you. But as you say, he's well past his
He
best.
couldn't pass. All he did was run around headlessly, chasing everything and nothing, and tackling wildly and recklessly. He just people like that because
He
he's
gives the ball away as well, which Garner doesn't. He gives the ball away far too easily.
You need better than that in the middle, and Garner was providing it. I do not understand why he shifted him to the right. I think questions need to be asked if he makes that mistake again of Dyche. Much as I really like Dyche. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great
Yeah,
character. You know what I mean? I think he's an excellent manager, but he needs to do better than that. You can't keep making a mistake like that. That's a simple, basic error.
I can't
You
agree
know,
with you more. That's just,
there's
yeah,
certain
it
things
was
you
an error.
can understand, but that one, I mean, that's not. It's obvious. It's not like it's. You can understand if you didn't have an option in Ghana to come in, and so you brought in, you brought in Gay, but if you've got nobody to play wide right instead of Ghana, who managed to play there in the last two games while he was in the middle?
Yeah.
That's the question you need to ask.
Harrison played there
Exactly.
against Villa, and we played them off the park. The
Yeah,
team that beat Brighton 6-1, and we taught them a new one in the
well,
cup. I know it was only in the cup, and a couple of players weren't playing, but
yeah, but the point is, you've got someone to play there. You've also got Calvert-Lewin's played wide on occasion in the
yeah,
past, so he could cover
yeah,
there. You've got what's his name, the one who plays on the left usually, the left-footed lad, McNeil. He can play on the
yeah.
right. You've got Ashley Young can play on the right wing. You've got options. It's not like he's the only choice you've got to make. It's not like you can say, "Oh, I had
No,
to put him there because I needed someone to play on the right. I had no other option," and that's why it's got to go down as a mistake from Dice. Much as I like
like
him,
Dyche, yeah,
yeah, that's on him. This
yeah,
result, unfortunately. Much as I'd love to say no, it's just Everton a shy. It's not. That's a mistake by Dice that cost you.
yeah, very much so. And as you say, I think he's a good man. I think he's a good football man, but he made a massive error there, and he's got to atone for that over the next couple of weeks and start playing. Got trying to fit square pegs in round holes, and he's got to get
Sorry.
rid of some of them. Some of them have got to be out of the team and on the periphery. They've got the likes of Ghana Gay. He's got to be dropped, and Garner brought in James Garner to do the job that he done really well against Brentford and Villa. But we'll see.
Yeah, the thing is, you've got a very Joe Harrison's a very good option there. So there's
Yeah.
no reason why you can't use him. I don't understand why he didn't. Oh, I'm sure he must have had a reason for it. By the way,
Mm.
did you hear the news about Usmanov having his property raided today in Germany?
No, never heard that. That's today, was it?
Yes, yes. So, wonder how long until they find the paper trail that leads to Everton actually being owned by him.
Well, what I read is he's owed £400 million by Everton. Another thing that's on the cards is that
Oh,
three of the sides have written to
yeah.
777 and to tell them that when they take over, they better have at least 300 million because that's what they're getting sued for by Leeds United, Leicester City, and Burnley, I think it was. And they're all going to sue them for
Loss
because
of earnings when they went down.
well, because they went down, yeah. And you
Wonder
can
who
see it
Burnley
going
was
to
it?
court.
Was the year
No, it
after
wasn't Burnley,
Burnley,
but
was it?
they were mentioned. They were mentioned in it,
Mm.
and I don't know why, because it wasn't Burnley. They come up, but that's what it had in the article I read. It had Burnley, but I can't think of who the side was that went down. Who was it that went down?
I
Leicester,
can't.
Leeds.
Leicester, Leeds, and shit, I can't remember who it was. I honestly can't think now. Seamus, are you there? Put us right, lad. This is your area of expertise, the memory test. Help, help
The
us
teams
old
that got
coaches out.
relegated last season.
Sorry? Yeah,
Yeah,
the third one. We
I was
know.
talking about the teams that
Yeah,
got
we know Leeds
relegated
and
last.
Leicester. Who was the other one?
Southampton.
Southampton. Yes, that was it.
Southampton. Yeah, they might have got it wrong in the article I was reading because it did have Burnley, but why I didn't know.
No,
But yeah,
Burnley were the ones. Were the ones that were relegated the season before.
Yeah, and then came straight back up, didn't they, last season? They certainly
mm,
can't see what they maybe. Anyway, it's the 25th as you're hearing, isn't it?
yeah, it is, Trish. Yeah.
Something to look forward to for you there, Billy. Hope you've got your calendar marked,
Well,
because I'm sure you'll be excited to hear the outcome of that.
do you know, I won't be excited per se, but what I will be is if they are guilty, they've got to be brought to book. We're going
Mm.
back to honesty now. We're going back to, Man City and X, by the way.
Well,
These people have got to be brought to book. And if you've fiddled, if you've done things wrong, you've got to pay. And I've got no problem saying that if Everton are guilty of doing it, not that I want us relegated, I don't want a points deduction, I don't want a transfer embargo, obviously, because I'm an Evertonian. But it's got to be honest. Football has got to be honest. And I'd like to see where Man City are with their case as well.
I still
If
don't.
Everton are getting brought to book,
Mm.
they've got to as well.
I still don't understand why it's taken so long, a Man City one, when like I've pointed out many times, they've already been found guilty of over half the offences by UEFA. So
Yeah,
surely half of them you could just deal with. You could have just dealt with immediately, right? You've already been found guilty of them, so we'll just carry on. We'll just accept that finding, and then we'll worry about the rest. We'll punish you for
do,
those, and then we'll worry about the rest
do you reckon
afterwards.
it's do you reckon it's the lawyers tying things up? That
Yeah, but
you can't make a meeting, you haven't got
yeah,
the paper trail and all that, and they're just stalling and stalling and stalling,
and
hoping
then
that it goes away. I hope it doesn't go away. And the same with Everton. And if Everton have done wrong, I'll gladly accept the findings. So long as it's done in a legitimate way. There's got to be honesty and transparency. There has got to be in football, and that's why I'm not going back to the Liverpool game at all. But there has got to be transparency in football. Otherwise, the game's just not. It's not worth watching if it's going to be corrupt.
yeah, if you don't know whether what you're watching's been decided already in a backroom deal, it's just not worth
Yeah,
watching. You know what I mean? If it is, if it's being decided on the pitch by the two teams on the day, that's fine. Or yeah, okay, a referee and error can make a difference to it. Yeah, we know that. But still, you've still got a chance, 11 against 11, if all things are fair. But if it's been decided by who's paid the most to bung the most to the officials, or to the other players or whatever,
yeah.
then it stops being watchable. That's what killed things like cycling,
Mm,
and it'll kill
yeah,
football
that did, yeah.
if they keep sweeping it under the carpet instead of actually acting on it. It'll just get worse until the point when that's what cycling did wrong. Is when it happened, they kept sweeping it under the carpet. They caught Lance Armstrong
Mm,
a number of times. They just kept sweeping it under the carpet, saying, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's Lance Armstrong. We won't say anything." If they'd have actually acted immediately, they could have staved off a lot of their problems. But
yeah,
instead, they just allow, and it builds up, and then it becomes a huge problem when it gets caught. And that's what's going to happen
yeah,
at some point in football. We know full well that has to be. There's always going to be people cheating. There's always people cheating. But when they're allowing
yeah,
players to be banned for failing drug tests, but pretend to be injured, so long as they do
yeah.
rehab. When you're allowing things like that, that's corruption, in my opinion. You shouldn't
Mm,
be. And I know they're saying it's better for we don't want to ruin their career and that. But I'm sorry, but they're cheats. Whether they've whether it's a recreational drug or not, it's still breaking the rules of the game by taking it. And the reason why it's breaking, if that's what you've done, you've cheated. Whether it's helped your actual performance or not doesn't matter.
mm.
You've still broke the rules knowingly, which is cheating. So
Do you remember Rio Ferdinand when he went home
yeah,
from training because he'd been told the
yeah,
drug
they gave
testers were in, and
yeah,
so he just disappeared from training. Nothing good ever done about Rio. And I like Rio as a
No, he got
person
a
as
ban.
well, by the way.
He did get a ban,
I think he's a nice person.
but he never
But
got
I
a
know, but he
drug
only got
test.
the ban for not attending. He didn't get it for the drugs. He never tested them.
Exactly, that's ridiculous. You have to have the test. So if
Yeah, yeah,
that's when you just know there's something seriously wrong when you can just go
yeah,
home and not bother
yeah,
taking it, and they don't change it. You know what I mean? They don't follow you and find you because that's what should happen.
yeah.
Yeah,
According to Everton, at the shareholders meeting, they are convinced that they're going to be
okay.
found not guilty.
Well, of course they're going to
But
say
they're
that.
going to say that anyway, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're going to say
otherwise
that
the
anyway.
777 are going to run a mile if they don't say it, aren't they? Is what they're worried about.
Yeah, of course they are, yeah. Yeah.
And they don't want the shareholders to think, oh, sod this. The minor shareholders think sod this and start trying to sell off their shares either. Because you
Yeah,
could
I
end
know,
up with
yeah.
any
It could
bugger
be,
in charge.
yeah, you could end up, if Everton get like a 9 point deduction or something like that, even 12 points, it's going to put them in absolute dire trouble. They're not getting out of that. I don't think they'll get out of it. To win, to beat anyone by 12 points in the relegation battle that they're in, because they are in whether they want to believe it or not, the supporters, they are in a relegation battle. And we can't afford to lose 9 or 12 points as well as having an embargo. But if it happens and it's fair and square and it's proved that Everton did, I've got no sympathy for Everton. Any club, I've got no sympathy for any club who cheat. And that's blatant cheat. But we'll see on the 25th.
Yeah, what do you reckon,
What's our next
Seamus?
game? Oh, go on, Seamus.
Is he even? He's probably fallen asleep, bless him.
Yeah, he's tired.
He's getting old, bless him. Getting old. Yeah, young people like me and you can cope on just a couple of hours sleep. He needs a full 12
Yeah.
hours sleep.
No, no, no. No, I
He
think
needs his fucking beauty sleep, that's for sure. Hi, Seamus. Sorry, mate, you still there?
I know which game is likely gonna come up next.
Yeah, so are you. You're staying quiet because you know it's you next. Yeah.
You can't hide behind Onana anymore,
Oh no,
Deeps.
no, no.
You've got to come clean with him, mate. He's hopeless, isn't he? Who is the next game, Tris?
Man United, Crystal Palace.
It's, oh, right.
So what was the score
Go
again,
on, Deeps.
Seamus? What was the score?
Okay,
Talk us through it.
we lost the game 1-0 at home this time, which is a really, really, really terrible defeat to handle because at least before we were only shit at away games and decent at home games. Strictly talking results, not performances. And I only happened to watch the tail end of the game, maybe the last 20-30 minutes. And I don't know how we didn't manage to score a goal. We missed decent opportunities. We were very dominant. Palace were holding on and then they held on. Another Hodgson masterclass, shall we call it?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I said in the podcast before that, I've got a lot of time for Roy Hodgson, and he's a good football man. But that was an astounding result, wasn't it? I think it's a coupon buster for everyone, especially the referees. Who are doing more betting than. Yeah, but it was a coupon buster that everyone thought Man United did. They beat them 3-0 midweek. The same, well, they had a couple of players out, but no one expected Palace to get a result at Old Trafford, and they did. So all power to them. But United look a poor side, don't they? And everyone's questioning Ten Hag now. And I was a big fan of his. I said last season I thought he'd done really well. He got them into the Champions League, but you can't lose that amount of games and concede that amount of goals and expect to have any confidence, because they look awful as well, United, what I've seen them.
What
What? Go on.
what's been really surprising to me is how disorganized and how calamitous we look as a whole in defense. Because
Mm,
until last season, every defensive fault were blamed at Maguire and De Gea.
Mm.
mm.
Now neither are playing. One is not at the club sadly, and another one isn't playing. But the defensive mistakes seem to have just actually magnified and multiplied.
We brought in a worse
Is
keeper.
Martinez out for the season, as he deeps?
No, it's not for the season, but I think it's out for the year, if I remember correctly.
Oh, out for the year. All right, okay.
But even with him in, we haven't looked that solid.
No, no.
No, he's been playing with an injury though,
Apparently so.
so it's a bit hard to judge him, to be fair. So
I think,
yeah,
I think
I think
he,
it's time. I think it's time for us to take Onan out of the firing line. But
yeah.
sadly, sadly, we just have to bring someone else into the firing line as well because we
I,
Do you think,
signed a
I
new
think it'd
number
make
two as well.
I think it'd have made a big difference if you just bought a good keeper. I think that's a huge part of your problem is that you bought the wrong keeper. He's reckless, he's rash, he's poor positioning, he's dodgy as hell. He's not a good goalkeeper by any stretch of imagination. I never understood why you were interested. I never understood why anybody was interested in him at Ajax. To be honest, I thought he was terrible there.
he wanted Pickford? United wanted Pickford,
Well,
but
No,
yeah,
no,
he
no,
was
no.
going nowhere.
I could see.
We don't want to work. We don't want a worse version.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could see why they chose Onana if that's the option.
If Onana couldn't pass the ball, then he would be Pickford.
So do you think Ten Hag is on the precipice, Seamus?
He's starting to lose a lot of support from the fans. And that's
Mm,
never a good sign.
no,
And
you
and he
conceding
seems
too
to
many
also
goals.
he seems to have
Go
problems
on,
within
sir.
the dressing room as well. Now they seem to be the players don't seem to be playing for him at the moment.
Yeah, but like I said last week, the issue, regardless of whether Ten Hag is a good coach or not, or whether he's ready or not, whether there are mitigating circumstances or he's just incompetent, the issue lies within the squad itself as well.
No, I'm fully with you that I would stick with him over the players. I would get rid of the players first because you've got completely the wrong attitude among the playing staff. I'm just saying that like when that happens, we were talking about what'll happen with Ten Hag, whether he'll go or not. I'm just
Yeah,
saying when the
it's easy.
players turn, it
Yeah,
tends to be the manager that suffers, even if he's not the problem.
yeah, it's easy for the club to change the manager at any point than to change the player, let alone the squad or
But you've got to say that
the
it's down
standard.
to the manager. If the players aren't performing, you've got to blame the manager because that's his job to get them to perform. And quite a few of them are his picks, by the way. I know he's been left with a bit of dross, but a lot of them are his picks that he's actually got in. Well, I'm assuming it's his picks, but it is down to him to motivate the players and to get them in on the training field and do things. So you can see why the manager
Oh,
does get the bullets.
hang on a sec. I just
No,
don't know. Oh, sorry. Go on, carry on. No, I'll get to it later.
he has had a lot of picks in the signing as well. He has had a lot of say in the signings, it seems, because a lot of the players we've signed have had previous connections with him of some sort.
Yeah, yeah. Go on, Trish. What were you going to say, mate?
I just noticed something on the. I was just reading up on the Jota thing. I'm still not sure I'm getting this right. But am I reading it right that they've said his first yellow card was a mistake, but they're not overturning the red card.
But it wasn't a
How does
straight
that
red,
work?
was it?
How
Because
does that work then?
Because it is the ensuing red card cannot be rescinded since it result of 2 yellow cards. Is that,
These are the issues that I have with the rules.
I'm reading. I can't find anybody. Nobody seems to have mentioned it until one report, and I'm like trying to find a corroborating one now. But that just sounds like the kind of thing they'd fucking do, and if so, that is ridiculous. There we go. Let's see if this one's trying to find something, because that just, if that's the case, I mean, how on earth can that? So they've said he shouldn't have been shown the second yellow. I've got that much, and I never actually really should not have been sent off.
He shouldn't have been seen the first one, but it was right for the second one, I thought. I thought it was a booking. But the first one, it shouldn't have been a sending off because that shouldn't have been a booking. So that would be my case for him. You know what I mean? But I've got no problem with the second one. It was from behind, and he did catch him, and he brought him down.
But he hardly.
I didn't like. What?
Jota hardly caught him, actually.
Yeah, he hardly caught him.
If he caught him.
I don't think he did. But I didn't like the fact that the Spurs player put his hand up, to say, give him a card, showing the imaginary card. I thought that was a booking. That should got to be a booking as well.
He's already on a booking.
Yeah, I know. So maybe he should have been sent. It's just a calamity, wasn't it? Just another thing there, yeah. He's calling for Jota to get booked. And you're not allowed to do that no more, apparently. To booking. But we'll have to see where that one goes now.
Yes, it was that bad before United signed him. He was terrible. I couldn't understand it, why they signed Onana at all. I'm really shocked that if that's true, they've said it's not it shouldn't have been a red card, but we're not going to overturn the red card. It's basically how I'm understand. I can't find anybody who's actually saying it is.
All right, okay.
I can't find anybody who even mentions it. They've just said that, but nobody's actually said the red card's overturned, and nobody said whether it has been not rescinded. You know what I mean? Nobody seems to be mentioning that bit.
We shall find that out later on, Chris.
Yeah, probably after we finish. As usual, it'll come in. That's what usually.
What's the next game?
We can move on to the next game, and I think this is my cue to say goodbye.
All right, mate. Thanks for.
See you next session, lads. Bye bye.
Yeah, ta-ra, mate.
Newcastle Burnley's the next one.
Newcastle Burnley, yeah, easy 2-0 win for Newcastle. Burnley haven't got much about them, have they, really? They got the first win midweek, but they haven't got enough to stay up by the looks of it.
Did you watch? I'm not sure they even did it. That, to be honest, they weren't good. They weren't good there. They were playing it around. They threw themselves into trouble so many times, only because it was Luton they were playing, weren't it? And Luton are abysmal. Oh, they truly are. And that lad they've got up front, he's an absolute bellend. That Carlton Morris. No, honestly, this isn't because of what apart from the fact he's a shit striker. He's clearly not Premier League quality, but his attitude is absolutely stinking. He was bawling out his teammates for when they make every little thing, he was screaming at them and that. You know what I mean? His attitude towards his team, I just thought, if I was his teammate, I'd just have to fuck off and not give him a bloody pass, I tell you. Because he was wasting chances to play in to take a shot, and he's not even a good striker of the ball or anything. He's got a really bad attitude, I thought, and he's someone I'd immediately look at and go, he's not Premier League quality, and he's got a terrible attitude. He's going to cost them. He is going to be a problem for them, and they've got no chance of staying up if he's going to be their main front man for the rest of the season, because he's fucking awful, and
I don't think they've got much chance of staying up, to be honest with you, Chris. I think that's immaterial. I think they're definitely going down for me.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is they're not giving themselves a chance because they've got a striker that's going to ruin their team spirit, and team spirit is what got them up. So
I haven't seen much of it, I must admit. I haven't seen much of it
it's
myself.
horrible to watch. I watched him midweek against Burnley. It was horrible. Really, when you just watch a play and you think, I really wish someone had just told him to shut up. These are your teammates.
Yeah,
They're working. They should be working with you and for you, and you're making sure they don't want to bother. They're not going to
yeah,
run through a brick wall for you the way your attitude is, because he was really not. It wasn't. He was telling like one of his players when it made a challenge. He said, clearly caught a player. And he should have just backed off and just stood off him and let him. He was right up on the corner of the box, and he went in and made a challenge he didn't need to make. You know what I mean? Just got to rush your blood. You know the way players always do. And
yeah.
he's just telling him to just fuck off to his teammate. You know what I mean? You can keep it like that. There was no team, getting behind his teammate like you see most teams. They'll just
No,
stand with their teammate,
encouraging, yeah,
even when they know their teammates made a mistake. They'll stand and back him. He wasn't backing his team at all. He's definitely
no,
not a team player. Wouldn't have him anywhere near a team if I was coaching it. He would be the first
no.
out the door for me. He's the kind of player that just doesn't work with, he's not a team lad. And that is exactly what they need as team players, because that's their only hope of staying up is the sum of their team is better than the individuals, because they're crap, basically, their team. Sorry, we're getting because we're actually talking about
Yeah,
Burnley,
after
aren't we?
track,
Sorry,
we're talking about Newcastle, weren't we? Do you still think that the manager's in trouble? Eddie Howe?
Well, it was Burnley, you know what I mean? It wasn't like. So it's
No, I
difficult to
know that,
say,
but
because I don't think he's going to be in trouble now, because they're doing well, weren't they? But the minute
they
they
had a
have a
good
bad
result
run,
against PSG. You know,
to be fair,
PSG aren't up to
some
much. They must have not.
PSG are really struggling this season as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not like it's a. I know the way the Geordies are celebrating like they've won the Champions League itself, but they've played a really
yeah,
poor PSG side that's in poor form,
yeah,
low in
yeah,
confidence, and struggling badly in the French league against teams that are far lower in quality than anything that Newcastle face each week. So yeah, it was expected, to be honest, if anything, but
yeah.
yeah, and in Newcastle, yeah, as long as they keep winning, Newcastle, Howe will be okay. But the minute they go on a bad run, because obviously he wasn't the one they wanted in the first place, he was only in there as a stopgap.
No,
So,
no,
so he's never going to be on a safe wicket there, is he? Let's be honest. It's always going to
no,
be
no.
a step away from getting sacked. Yeah, but right now he'll be all right for a few more games. Burnley, though, I mean,
Yeah,
Company's hopeless. I don't understand how they got up. How on earth did they get promoted? They are embarrassing. I mean, they just pass it around at the back. So right in their own penalty box, they're playing it around, and this Newcastle could just take it off them at will in the penalty box and put them under severe pressure, and they don't seem to have the intelligence to know that sometimes you just have to put it long to get a breathing space so you can play
yeah.
it around next time.
You see,
You know.
you can do that in the Championship because the quality isn't there. You try and do it against the Premier League side week in, week out. You've got no chance. You can't do that if you're a Burnley, if you're a Luton, if you're an Everton, if you're a Sheffield United. You can't do that, and it's not working for Company at the moment. And I thought you done really well last year, but they look as though they're miles behind what people expected them to do. They expected them, everyone was saying they've got a good chance of, survival. I don't think they've got a good chance of survival. I think they're one of the worst 3 or 4 teams in the Premier League.
Possibly the worst.
It wouldn't
I
surprise me,
know
yeah.
they're doing better. They're winning games and that, but they're shockingly bad. It's astonishing that they've got results. It really is. The risks they take at the back are just insane. They make no sense,
Yeah.
and it's gonna cost. It's
Is
gonna
that a
cost them.
Company thing because he was a top class centre half? Is that, here's the way we've done it at Man City. But obviously there's a gulf in player quality. And do you think that's what he's trying to instill in his players to play the City way?
Yeah, it's just what he's doing is all he's doing really is he's trying to put himself in the frame for when Pep Guardiola goes. That's what it is.
Ooh,
That's what this is for him.
I
This
think
is
he's
his
miles up at the
extended
moment.
job interview. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's the thing.
Yeah,
They really do not
yeah.
look a good side. They don't look to have bought well either. I mean, I don't know how many of their players look. I've actually been impressed with. I'm trying to think of one.
I can't name any. I couldn't name a
They're
Burnley player.
paper. I mean, it's still.
Um,
I know I keep saying it, but that Trafford is shit. He really is shit. He can't kick. His kicking
mm,
under pressure, in particular, is embarrassing. And his arrogance, and he's not particularly good shot stopper. He's not. I don't see what he brings other than arrogance and confidence. He doesn't actually do anything well. He doesn't get
yeah,
good crosses well. He doesn't. He doesn't organise his defence well. He's a very average keeper at best. He's not Premier League quality yet. He might well grow into it, but right now
no,
every time he's put under pressure, he cocks up with his kicking. Which when you
yeah.
play out
And
from the
it comes
back,
right back then, doesn't it?
yeah,
Course comes
when
right back.
you're trying to play the way they're playing. Why did they pick him? I mean, you could see it every time you watch him. You can see the minute he's put under pressure, he folds with his kicking goes the right. So why would you buy him? I don't understand it. It's a really strange decision, and that's put everything else in trouble that companies trying to do because they've got the wrong man at the back. And these days, the goalkeeper's the key.
Yeah, yeah, it is, yeah.
Mm.
You see Allison and Edison, they start moves off, they make the odd little error, but basically they run the back four. If everything goes through them, the short balls, the long balls when it's necessary, the passes, the key passes out to the winger, or it makes a difference if you've got a good keeper. It really does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's what you if you're going to play out the way company wants to play, the keeper's the most essential start. You start from there. You buy the best goalkeeper you can afford on the ball, and he's not
Mm,
a good goalkeeper on the ball. I don't understand why they bought him. It seems to be more like he's a Man City boy. I'll buy him. That's what it feels like.
yeah.
Company's bought him because he was at Man City rather than because he's any good. It just seems like
All right. Okay.
doing a favour for his old club because he wants the job there later. Anyway, should we move on to the next one? Was West Ham Sheffield United?
Yeah, nothing surprised me there at all. 2-0 for West Ham. Not, good results. Could have been more.
Stroll in the park.
Yeah, it was. It really was a stroll in the park. I just thought they weren't trying at times, which was a bit thingy for West Ham. Uh, yeah, I seen highlights of that game, and it was as you say, it was a walk in the park for them. They look a very poor side, Sheffield United. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually finished lower than Luton, which is saying
Mm.
something, because they look awful and devoid of any ideas. Yeah, they look a really bad side. Did you see
Uh,
much of the game, Trish?
yeah, I watched it. I watched most of it to be honest, because I was switching between that. I can't remember what games were on at the same. What game was it? No, that was the game I watched in the. No, I watched the Wolves Manchester City, but I watched that later. I watched most of that later on the high, on the channel afterwards because they showed that was the game they showed later. After
Oh,
the
right,
Tottenham
okay.
Liverpool game, they were showing. And I had it on in the background while I was doing something else, or it wasn't late. It was probably the next day or something. But yeah, West Ham. It was fucking hell. That was one of the easiest games they'll ever probably play. I don't even know if they broke a
Absolute
sweat, to be
cakewalk.
honest.
Yeah, yeah. I was surprised it wasn't more. They'd have been disappointed. I think the West Ham fans were disappointed that it wasn't more.
Mm.
Because it could have been a hatful, couldn't it? It really could have been.
Yeah, it's one of those where you just think, right, they got away with one there, Sheffield United, really. which is
Yeah, it could have been 5 or 6 easily. Easily could have been 5 or 6.
but if it
Yeah,
wasn't under what's his face?
nice.
Moyes, yes, that's it. I couldn't think of his name then. Yeah, if they hadn't been under Moyes, I think they'd have probably gone and absolutely destroyed them. I see Brighton are getting beat again by Marseille this time. 2-0 down.
Are they?
West Ham
Yeah,
are 1-0
yes,
up to
yeah.
Freiburg, away to Freiburg. Do you know what? It's nice. I've got to say, I know Rangers are getting beat, but it's nice to see Steve Davis has come out of retirement. I mean, I haven't seen him since the days of Pot Black. I didn't even know. I didn't even know he had any. I didn't know he was a football manager. I always thought he was just a super player. But it's nice to see him there.
and and you know who's in the running, don't you? Frank has put himself in the running for
Yeah, I
the
know.
Rangers job.
He's
So
shouting himself up, isn't he? As desperately as he
yeah,
can. You've got to think
has
if
not
you're
actually told him that he's a very poor manager. I
he's
liked him
not.
as a player, but
No,
as
very
a
rich.
manager, he's bloody awful.
Yeah, he's very rich actually. But yeah, he's shit. He really is gone.
Yeah,
He's possibly the worst you've had since. Well, I
yeah.
can't remember. I mean, he makes Mike Walker look quality. That's how bad he is.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
astonishing.
yeah.
How,
Yeah,
but
how he
yeah,
gets links to these jobs. You
I
know,
know,
what's he ever done
I
to
know.
be in the frame? No, as I say, I liked him as a player. I loved
I'll
him as a
tell you,
player, but
I'll tell you what he's done. He's got his agent's been shouting him up because he wants to get him some work because of skin. Well, not
yeah,
skin,
maybe.
you know what I mean.
Their skins is our skin, so
Yeah.
sure, yeah. Yeah. What's the next game, mate? The Liverpool game, is that the next one?
The next one is Wolf City first, which I
Oh,
watched
Hull
all on
City, yeah.
live. That's the one I watched live, and that was, when you watch it, there's no point watching it really, because you know that there's just no
Yeah.
way Wolves are gonna get anything from this. Yeah, but you're just watching hope, don't you? Oh wow, Wolves were, and they deserved it to be honest. I don't, they weren't the better
Did
side.
they? I never seen the game, Tris, no.
It was, but they weren't the worst side either. In fact, do you know what? Having said that, they probably were slightly the better side, if anything. You know what I mean? They created the better chances in that. City did not look right at all. They didn't look
No.
at the races at all. One of
I
those
don't
games.
think they've been great. I said it last week on the podcast. I don't think they've been great this season. They've had some good
No,
results, some really good results. They're unbeaten up until then. But they haven't looked like the Man City with Gundogan in and Kevin De
mm,
Bruyne and David Silva, that flowing type of attractive, quick football. They look a bit cumbersome to me, but maybe that's just me, open. But I think
yeah, sure.
they don't look right to me,
No,
City.
they were awful. They weren't at the. They were out. I gonna. You know what? I'm trying to think whether it's. I think to be fair, Wolves made them look worse. They were played very well, but at one point, I mean, he had to make changes. Pep, he changed because he had Ake as on the left back role. Left side of the centre defence, whatever.
Yeah,
It's hard to say whether it's a left back because of the way they play. It's like they seem to play with
yeah,
three centre halves and Carl Walker these days. But what he had Neto up against Ake, and I always thought Ake was quick.
Neto's quick. I like Neto.
Yeah, Neto is quick, but Neto isn't blindingly quick, but he absolutely annihilated. Ake looked like he was running in
Did he?
Oh, he looked like he was running in treacle, mate, and he just got destroyed. In the end, Pep Guardiola moved Kyle Walker across to the right hand side to to cover Neto,
Yeah,
and that, you know what I mean. It was the Wolves forced them into altering their system to deal with Wolves' threat, which I think's got to say you've got to say that that's Wolves doing well rather than City being poor.
yeah.
So
All credit to Wolves to get a result there. No one put that down as a
No, I don't
as
think
a Wolves
most of
win.
the Wolves fans didn't expect it. They were hoping, but I don't think
No,
most
they
did.
didn't.
But why would you? I
No.
mean,
But
City
I
haven't
like
been.
that Neto. Before his injury, that Neto was an excellent player. He had
He
a bad
was before the
injury.
injury. Yeah, he hadn't been
They
good
put him
since
out for a
coming back.
season.
I didn't like him
Yeah,
playing on the left. He played. I know people were saying he was ripping Liverpool apart on the left, but he kept. He wasn't. He had no end product when he was coming in from the left. When he was put on the right,
no.
he played on the right against City, and he played on the right in the previous game, I think, as well. I watched him.
I
The
like him on
previous
the
game
right.
I
I
watched
prefer
him
him
on
on
the
the
right
right.
is fantastic. I like him on the right. I've got to say,
Yeah,
if I'm, as a if I was writing a player profile on him, on the left I'd say he's okay, but he lacks end product. On the right, I'd say he's an excellent player, and I can understand why top teams are looking at him. Would I take him
yeah,
as a
yeah.
replacement for Salah? Probably not. I don't think he's that level, but is he
No,
good enough to get? Is he good enough for 90% of the Premier League? Yeah, he'd easy walk into.
probably. Yeah,
I think the only teams he would struggle to get into probably are Liverpool and Man City, to be honest. And even Man City,
mm,
I think he might have a chance. It's only because Liverpool have got so many forwards that they need to get rid of one
yeah,
really rather than sign one. That's the issue. It's the only reason why I think Neto's probably not needed by Liverpool. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I'd say he's probably I think he could go. They need to hang on to him though. They do need to
yeah,
hang on
yeah.
to him. I think he was he's really good. Play him on the right, and I think he's a quality player. Play him on the left, I think he's an average winger. That's what it comes
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
for me. He knows what he's doing on the right. He looks natural and he makes the right decisions and he plays the right balls. On the left, he's he tends to waste possession a lot, give the ball away, make the wrong decisions. So I think it's quite clear he's just a natural right winger. That's where he's good at, and that's
mm.
what he suits him. So and that,
His
but it,
best games have always been on the right when I've seen him
mm, I've not
as
seen.
well.
I've only seen little bits of him before, like this season, and you're impressed by him, but like it's not enough to judge a player on. But this season, I've watched him a few times, and I think, yeah, if he for a right winger, I'd definitely 100% take him at any club other than Liverpool. I think, but like at Liverpool, we've got Mo Salah. That's
Yeah.
he's not better than Mo Salah. I'm afraid he's not that good.
No, he's not.
But
No.
yeah.
He's not prolific, but he is a good winger. Damn good winger.
Actually, he might. Do you know what? I think he'd probably score a lot more goals or create a lot more goals if he was playing at a team that was a lot more attacking. Had a lot more of the ball.
Yeah. I think he'd have been the perfect replacement for Mahrez when Mahrez went to
Yeah.
Saudi, because he's that type. He cuts in, he can cut in, he can go wide. I think as a right winger, I think he'd have done a job for Man City.
Mm,
But I'm not Pep, you know what I mean?
yeah. I can see what you're saying. I do wonder why Chelsea didn't buy a player like that rather than some of the players they've signed over the course of the last couple of
Yeah,
seasons. That's the kind of player they should have been looking at. Prem ready. Uh, Certainly, a bit of experience, but still young enough to improve, but not kids. But yeah,
yeah,
it didn't. Yeah, Wolves deserve the result anyway. That's what I'm trying to say. Is they forced City
yeah.
to make changes to try and deal with them, and I was yeah, okay, City were at their best, but the more I look at it and the more I think about it, the more I think that like a lot of that was because Wolves put them off their game and didn't allow them to play the way they wanted to, especially in the
Yeah,
first half when because Mateus Nunes started and they took him off at half time. He had an absolute stinker. The crowd were on him. You know what I mean? Every time he went near the ball, the
yeah.
crowd were going mad. And that really got the atmosphere going. And I think that really helped Wolves. See, I think that was a huge mistake by Pep playing him.
Isn't
It
it?
was.
Isn't it nice to see a side take on City though?
I think it was
Rather
nice.
than just sit back and hope for the best and hope for a draw. They had quite a few attacks, so they had a go at City, and it's nice to see that teams don't just sit back and they do have a go. Scored two goals, one of them was no goal, but good luck to Wolves. Luck to any team who has to go at City because they are an excellent side. But a lot of teams do quake in the boots when they're facing them, and
They lost before they get
they
on the
lost
pitch.
from the start.
Yeah.
Well, mate.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with you. They're lost before they get on the pitch. They've already get handed.
Yeah.
Mentally they folded before they get on there, and then they just go out there to expecting to lose rather than looking to win.
Going back to West Ham, West Ham done the same against them, But that's a David Moyes trait anyway, you know what I mean? Taking knives to gunfights. And they lost to City when, when you've got the players there to have given them a good game, but they set up wrong. But that's cutting away from the fact.
He did the same against Liverpool as well. This is, it's a very David Moyes thing. He gives away the initiative all the time, and that can cost you against a good side will always, if they're good enough, they'll find a way if you give them time and space on the ball, and give them the initiative all the time. You're going to be in trouble no matter how good your defense is, no matter how well organized it is. It's only a matter of time before they score. It might be more than 90 minutes, and so you might get away with it one match, but the next match you might end up conceding 3 to make up for it because your defence just can't cope under that pressure constantly.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's our next game, mate?
Next game is Spurs Liverpool. What can we say on that one? The actual match.
Getting away from the controversy. What did you think of Postecoglou's Tottenham side?
Well, I've watched them a few times this season, and I've really enjoyed watching them. I thought they've been really good. They've attacked constantly. You know what I mean? They've been free flowing. They've looked. They've gone out there and they've played some really, really good stuff, and I've really enjoyed watching them. Against Liverpool, they were really insipid. I think is the only way. They didn't look like a team that had it in them to go. They didn't even look confident when Liverpool were down to 10 men. In fact, even with 9 men, you fancied Liverpool, really.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Really it took an own goal for them to. They would have. We could have played all night, and I still think that the only way they were ever going to score that was a lucky break like that, and that's worrying for me because I think Postecoglou is a really good coach, and I think he's done a really good job there so far, and I thought he'd done better than that. I don't understand what went wrong there for them. I don't understand.
He went the best side even when Liverpool were down to 9. Liverpool had a couple of chances there as well. But
it was only some ridiculous refereeing decision like the Robertson, where Robertson's away with the ball. If he hasn't got fouled twice, you've got the Salah one where he's pulled back when he's pulled back for a free kick against him when he's about running in on goal when there's no sign of a free kick there. Things like that. I mean, they just weren't. I don't know they just weren't at the races at all. Oh Jesus! Oh, West Ham finally conceded. That was coming. It was pinball in the box there. Shot after shot after shot, and then we're just scraping it off the line. Good save by Fabianski in that, but eventually it goes in. So Freiburg just equalised against West Ham.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. They haven't actually been playing badly, West Ham either. So it's not really.
No.
No, it's not really been like a battling draw or anything. This has been kind of but when Freiburg got in the box, then they were in real trouble. West Ham, they were all over the shop. I don't know what's happened to them. You don't expect it of a Moyes team. They're normally well organised. They looked a bit messy there.
All right. So what did you think of the game besides the refereeing things? I was flitting between Liverpool and the Ryder Cup myself, so I never seen all of the game. I watched bits of it, but besides the refereeing debacle, Liverpool looked decent. Even when they were down to 10 men, then down to 9 men, they still, were probably the better side.
Yeah, I was really. That's the thing. It really did, made me believe this team could go on and do anything. But it's hard, you're watching that game, and it was all about the refereeing, unfortunately. So you can't take
It
it out
was,
of them,
yeah.
I'm afraid. You can't. You just can't because it ruined the game. It stopped every chance of it being the match being a fair result
Classic
in the end.
encounter.
Yeah, and it could have
Yeah,
been it really could because Spurs set up. They gave Liverpool a chance to play well, and
yeah.
Liverpool did.
They are
You know,
open. They're a very open side, aren't they? I think you can score against Tottenham. Any team can score against Tottenham. But they're very good going forward. They are good going forward.
they weren't
Got
against
some good players.
they weren't good against Liverpool going forward, and they didn't look particularly solid at the back either. That looked like a team. Liverpool looked like they had the beating of them, and if under normal circumstances, and that's the problem is you can't really. Got to say, Liverpool, Szoboszlai, it's just he is
Good player, isn't he?
immense, and he just looks to be getting
Is he your
better.
favourite player now?
Mm. 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 It's getting that way. I've got to say, still love Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold. It's difficult because all of them. There's reasons to like so many of them. But
Yeah, yeah.
it's certainly not Jota. I've got to say. I mean, for all we're saying about the first yellow was a ridiculous decision and that, and a second yellow. I mean, it wouldn't have been a booking it probably 90% of the time. He shouldn't have made the challenge, and it was stupidity. And he does seem to be playing with a right narc on at the moment. He seems to have a chip on his shoulder. He didn't even celebrate
Yeah.
that goal. That goal he scored last, the flick one, really nice goal.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought really good goal, and that, but he just didn't even celebrate. He just had a really grumpy look on his face and that, and I just
Maybe he
thought
thinks he should be starting.
I don't know what's up with him, but yeah, he was terrible. Anyway, he came on at half time and was absolutely the worst player on the pitch. Anyway, probably did us a favour him getting sent off if anything, because he was fucking awful. He just kept giving every time he got the ball, he gave it to them. I mean, he was Spurs' best player for the time he was on the pitch. They actually, I think they made a mistake getting him sent off, to be honest. Because they might have got a comfortable win with him on the pitch because he was just absolutely honking. He really was abysmal. This is the thing with him. If he's not scoring a goal, he's shit.
Yeah.
That's it. That is all he offers, and that is a brilliant thing to have when he's scoring goals. But the minute you're not, it becomes a big problem,
He's got
doesn't
to
it?
come off the bench all the time for me. I don't think he's a starter. He's not for
Not at
me.
half time. Only late in
No.
games where he can't give the ball
Yeah.
away a lot.
After 70 minutes, he should come on, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want him on at half time because he can still cost you. I mean, his Hakpo injury really is a worry because he picked up that injury, then scored, and you could see he wasn't moving right when he scored as well. He was really struggling. It's a good goal, it's a good finish, But yeah, I mean, it would have been a great watch. It would have been a great game. I think if it
Yeah,
wasn't for the officials, unfortunately. Yeah, but it's always going to be ruined.
yeah. Two
And
good
always going to be
sides.
remembered for the officials, and that isn't how football should be. The officials should be the
No,
ones
you're
we
right.
don't remember.
You're right.
They should be
Yeah.
the last thing we should be thinking about in a game. It's ridiculous that they're even mentioned.
Is there any more games, or was that the last one, Tris?
No, one more. The weekend was Forest Brentford. Nottingham Forest drew 1-1 with
Oh,
Brentford.
right, yeah.
Uh,
That penalty decision was atrocious, wasn't it? No wonder Thomas Frank was going mad there. The lad tried to get back up because, and that's why I think the penalty wasn't given, because he tried to get back on his feet, but it was a definite penalty. Did you watch it?
are you talking about the one with the keeper?
Yeah.
Wipes him out, yeah. I mean,
The
you don't get
keeper
many
stuck him
calls.
out, but he tried to get back up on his feet because, natural instinct.
Oh,
But
Jesus
it
Christ.
still should be given.
The post. Yeah, even every Forest fan even said that was a definite penalty. We got away with one. It was, on their Forest site. It wasn't even one of those where a few of them, a few of the most blinkered said, "Oh no, no, that was never a penalty." Like you always get the blinkered ones that won't admit it, right? Not even
Yeah,
them
yeah.
was saying that shouldn't have been a penalty. All of them even were saying, "Oh no, that we got away with one there." That's how bad a decision it was. And
It was a terrible decision.
Mm, yeah, it was awful. To be fair, Brentford don't look good. They really look to be struggling this season. They're not at the best, are they, at all? I
No, they're
believed in
not.
them this
No.
season.
I did actually say at the start of the season I thought Brentford might struggle a bit,
Mm,
to reach the dizzy heights that they have done the last two seasons. But, losing Tony wasn't easy for them.
mm.
But one man won't make a difference to that Brentford side. I still think they're going to be on the bottom half.
Well, I thought their problem would be because they just they're one of the worst teams for play acting, rolling around on the floor, time
Yeah, they
wasting,
are. Yeah.
niggly fouls, throwing the ball away, kicking the ball away. That's how they play. And I thought that these rule changes would be what would cost them. That'd really affect them
Yeah.
badly. But it's not been that. They've just been shit. That Whistler up front is dogmuck. He's absolute dogmuck. He really is atrocious, and he's still in the team week in, week out. And for some reason, they took Mope on loan as an option. I mean,
Yeah,
you're that
exactly.
desperate. If you're that desperate for a striker, you may as well just sign me mother or something, because she'll do a better job than Mope will.
Yeah.
You know,
Strange one, huh?
she'd certainly put fear in the opposition if she was up front. I'll tell you, because I guarantee you, one look from here, nobody would tackle her. I'm telling you, she's got the ball. They just say, "No, you go on, love you." You know what it's like. She's very like her mother in that respect. Me nan, I remember when she got flashed, and she's just looked at it, and she's just staring at it, going, "Is that it?" You could have, in the end, she went off on one to this flash and she had this long diatribe she went off of to the point where he ran off crying. Honestly, I remember when someone tried to mug her and she knocked him unconscious with her handbag. This is when she was in her 60s. You got to remember, she was in her 60s and she knocked someone unconscious with a handbag when he tried to mug her. It's like, yeah, and that's who my mum takes after, just like her. But yeah, so yeah, I'm a Brentford very poor side. The only reason they won't go down is because Luton, Bournemouth, um, Sheffield
Sheffield
United,
United and Everton.
Everton. Yeah, no, I still think Everton will be okay this season. No, it's the other one that came up. I was trying to think of.
That was
Um,
it. Forest, Luton, and Sheffield United. Sheffield
I just
United,
mentioned Luton. Yeah, I just
Luton,
mentioned Luton. I
and
said
Burnley.
Bournemouth as well. No, I was saying Bournemouth is a fourth one. I'm saying there's four teams that are,
Oh
that are
yeah,
worse.
yeah.
That's why I'm saying they won't
That's
go
a
down.
that's a
Because
big thing for
two of
Everton
them
on
get
Saturday.
promoted.
That big game for Everton, Bournemouth. That'll
Mm.
show us where we are. If Dyche picks the proper side, uh, we'll see where we are with Bournemouth because they're definitely in the running to go down with us.
I was going to say, I don't think you're really in that much trouble unless you get a points deduction. I don't think when you look at how bad, you'll still pick up points from teams, other teams at points. You'll pick up points you're not expecting at some point. Dice always manages to do that. You know what I mean? You've got enough quality in
Yeah,
there with Garner and Beto and Calvert-Lewin and that to pick up surprise points occasionally. Might not happen a lot, but it'll happen enough that you won't go down. Whereas I don't see that with Luton, Burnley, or Sheffield United or Bournemouth. I don't see enough of that
no,
happening. I don't see the quality in there for them to do it. That's the problem they've got. Maybe even Fulham as well, actually, this season if they carry on. Speaking of which, that's
yeah,
the
they haven't been
that's
great.
another game at the weekend. They were on the Monday night. Fulham got beat by Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea
Yeah,
they hadn't scored in about 35 years, and then they play Fulham and get
Modric
battered.
scored as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People have been complaining he hadn't been celebrating because he hadn't been scoring, and now he's scored. I wonder if he knew what to do.
They still don't look like a team to me. They look like a bunch of individuals. But maybe that'll come, I don't know. But they don't look good at all, do they?
No,
Even
I
when they
mean,
win, they don't look good.
Fulham was so bad, it was like it was handed to them on a silver platter, really, and they still struggled to get the result. I mean, they were 2-0 up, and it was easy, well before half time, because I switched it off after they went 2-0 up, because Fulham was so bad, you just knew there's nothing there. They're not even got
Yeah,
anything about them at all, Fulham. They're an
no,
awful
no.
side. I'm surprised they stayed up last season, but this season they look even worse.
Yeah, they don't look great, do they?
No, they're poor inside. And there was one other game, Premier League game this week. It was a Tuesday night game, remember? Luton Burnley? Because it caught
Yeah,
up to
yeah,
them that they hadn't been able to play um, during the week. Burnley won 2-1, but like I said, that was just real. Burnley and Luton, they're just such bad teams. It was,
yeah, like a
it was just the
championship.
least
Yeah,
worst.
yeah.
Yeah, it was awful. Oh, what? I tried to watch it.
What's
You
something I'd have
watched
turned
it?
on? I never seen it.
Oh, it was. I was
It was
watching
something
it,
I
but
wouldn't have turned on.
right. You know me, I'll watch any game. If there's football on, I'll just put the TV, I'll just have the TV on the football channel and whatever match is on, I watch. That's if there's no Liverpool game on, I just watch whoever, I don't care. But yeah, I wish I hadn't watched that. It was 90 minutes of I may as well have just had my eyeballs scraped with Mrs. Cone or something because it would have been more enjoyable. Fucking hell, they're awful. I mean, Burnley just, and against a good side, if Luton had have had a striker, they could have got 7 or 8 there because the way Burnley played it across the back, they just invited so many chances for Luton. How they didn't
Yeah,
score more than one, I don't know. But like I said, they just don't look like a team there at the moment either.
no.
No.
Right, Tris,
Uh,
I think that's me for the night, mate. I'm going to get in my bath now
yeah.
because I'm off tomorrow. So thanks very much, boys, and I shall see you next Thursday.
Yeah, see you next Tuesday. I'm going to call it here for now, and I'll come back in a bit to do the watch along Liverpool game later. So thank you for listening,
Okay,
everyone.
Tris, enjoy, mate.
Yeah, well, I hope
Ta-da,
you've had a
Tris.
weekend. Yeah, take care, mate. See you next Thursday, everyone.
Ta-da.
See you later.